Gateway Classic Mustang is upgrading Michael Anthony's '69 Shelby. Cars are just one of Michael's passions. Besides rock and roll, Michael's business interests include the creation of a hot sauce called Mad Anthony, as well as Bond Speed, a company that focuses on the hot rod lifestyle. Bond Speed is putting out a line of wheels, watches, and soon, cars.
Bond Speed actually all came about when I first met Brad Fanshaw back in 1994.
Mike was working on a project truck, and things weren't going as smooth as he would have hoped. And so we got together to help him out with that.
We became pretty good friends right off the bat because we both loved the same thing. You know, we love fast cars, fast food, fast women, you name it.
We're really based on the whole lifestyle image of the automobile and the design side. So Mike will go out from a whole different direction. It's that whole rock and roll lifestyle. And we kind of blend that and mold it into to our whole inspiration for our product design.
I remember sometime back telling Brad that I would love to do a muscle car. We found the right kind of car to do, and so we actually found a '66 Chevelle.
It's going to have a twin supercharged Paxton aluminum small block. It's got an Art Morrison chassis under it. We're doing a lot of metal work to it. It's going to be a bad car.
It's kind of like the other side of me, because one side's the music side, and the other side, I love to do all this with cars, and it was just the perfect marriage, I thought.
Now, not to pressure the Gateway guys, but nothing less than matrimonial bliss is expected from this completed Shelby.
Looks like they got that stabbed in there. Let's start hanging the suspension stuff on the front of this. Scott Drake makes a new purchase for the coil springs to set in. Basically, this sits in on top of your control arm that holds the spring and everything in place once we get it all bolted in. Or we can throw the nuts down on the floor, who cares? Like a glove. The biggest problem on these are the big block springs are really a lot taller and a lot stiffer than the small block springs. The hard part is getting the spring collapsed enough to get everything in. It says here on our handy list, bolt the steering stuff on. So that's next. This is the steering box. We sent it out. They rebuilt it. Basically, this thing will now be just like it was in 1969, right out the factory. Putting it back together, you really have to take your time, make sure everything was put together the right way, not scratching the paint. Make sure you don't mark up the bolts and the nuts that you put on.
It's precision craftsmanship for the love of cars and guitars. Just ask Michael.
Hot rods, rock and roll, it all kind of goes together. And I thought at one point, why not try to combine the two into a guitar?
And the Michael Anthony hot rod bass was born.
You've got the aluminum wheel, you got the center cap, you've got wire, you've got glass, you've got rubber, you got the aluminum, you got a flame, you got the keys. So you really have almost every aspect that a hot rod has. But then we had to incorporate the other thing. When you have hot rod and you got rock and roll, you got to have girls. So the overall shape of the bass is basically it's a one-piece girls swimming suit. What's pretty amazing about this bass, though, is that there are thousands of hours into this because it started as a solid block of aluminum. One of our guys in the body shop actually spent hundreds of hours hand shaping it, sanding it, filing it, but also Mike's guys doing all the electronics inside.
Okay, it's time to go from the base to the place known as Gateway. Here at the shop, it looks like they're ready to roll in the tread.
All right, so we're going to slap these new BFGs up on Mike's car so he can get some traction, and this car is going to handle like it's on rails.
These are mock-up wheels for now. And now we're installing the tie rods and the drag link, control valve, all that's been rebuilt. We don't have the power top hooked up.
Trivia fun fact for everybody. 68, 69, and 70 Shelbys all had these little rings on the roll bar. That was actually to tie surfboards from the windshield post to the top of the roll bar.
Holly has went in and restored a carburetor for us for Mike's car. Oh, that is awesome.
When we got this thing in, it was slobbering some oil, so we decided to pull it apart, look at, we're going to re-gasket it. We found actually a couple of bent push rods, a couple of bad valves in there. We really kind of dodged a bullet for Mike on that. Got it all put back together, fresh coat of paint. This thing will be ready to rock and roll.
You're dealing with a lot of old parts, and most of this stuff you figure has been around close to 40 years now. So, metallurgy being what it is, a lot of this stuff is not like it used to be.
Okay, so we've just about got the 428 Cobra Jet ready to go back in Mike's Shelby. As soon as we get it in there buttoned up, get it fired up, Mike will be ready to start running with the double.